Hi everyone, Liz from the Origin team here. I'm so thrilled to be announcing our brand new feature within Spending called Reports. Reports is advanced reporting functionality that can be highly customizable based on the answers that you want around your spending. Reports help you understand 4 key areas of your spending: your overall cash flow and how much you're saving or exceeding your income in a particular time period, your expenses and where those expenses are going among different categories, your income and what your different sources of income might be, and lastly, your transfers, something that often gets underrepresented in reporting, but it's really helpful to understand how your money is moving between your various accounts. For example, if you are paying off credit card bills or wanting to move money between a checking account and an investments account. So those are the 4 areas that we help you understand. And within that, we have global filters that are detailed from date, the accounts that you have. If you and your partner share Origin together, you're able to split up your accounts between yours and theirs and auto filter for faster access into those accounts. Different amounts, different categories, tags you might have to understand data that has many different categories represented, and merchants. So those filters allow you to look at all of these different reports. Additionally, within each report, there's a total of eight brand new visuals that we're offering. So when we're looking at cash flow, you can see your income versus your expenses and your net cash flow, in addition to that trending line. In this case, I can draw the conclusion that my net cash flow has been increasing over the past 5 months, which was really a spending goal of mine as I look at the past year. I can also view this data in different visuals, like a side-by-side cash flow graph, or even a Sankey, where I can understand how my paychecks and different sources of income have been distributed across all of my different expense categories. Going back into cash flow, underneath each report is a summary of all the key information for this time period: the total income, total expenses, net cash flow, and the average over the course of those months. I can easily manipulate the time frame and customize it to whatever I wish to examine, but that is the summary that's below. There's even more detail when you can see the table view, and you can sort this entire table based on these 4 attributes. I can dig in to each individual month, and I can understand the actual category sources of the data that we're seeing. For example, if I want to understand the transactions that make up my income or my expenses, I can click and sort based on newest, oldest transactions, highest amount, and lowest amount. I can also look on a category by category level if I only want to look at my shopping over time as an example. And I can see, as I click between different months, how that monthly change has been evolving over time. That's personally my favorite part of this reporting feature, is that I can stay high level when it comes to visuals, or you can get as granular as the individual transactions. The other filter that we've made easy access is the ability to modify the interval that you're looking at. For example, if you want to understand your data on a quarterly interval, you can do so. The table will adjust based on the interval that you've selected. Let's dive into the other reports before we get into the save reports and the types of use cases that you might have. So next we have expenses. Expenses shows the trend line over time. Let's go back to a monthly view, and you can understand how you've been spending within this entire expense category. The quick visual, you can see the categories by color, but again, you can also dig in and really see down to the transaction level what all those categories are. If you're also more interested in your distribution as a total, you can look at a donut chart and see how your percentages have been broken up into different categories based on that total time period. Then going into income. With income, you can understand your different sources of income over time, summaries as well, such as total and average for the certain time period. If I wanted to understand average income for the quarter, that would also modify based on the interval that I've selected here. I can see the quarterly comparison, month over month or quarter over quarter. And again, I can dig into the details and understand down to the category level. Similar to with expenses, if I want to understand this data as an aggregate, I can look at the donut chart and see how interest and reimbursements and income, generic income, have contributed to my overall income totals. And lastly, we have transfers. Transfers represent the money in, money out transfers that you have throughout your account. From a purely visual perspective, these will almost always mirror each other, the transfer in, transfer out, but you're able to dig into the individual level here. And this is a great opportunity to start showing what some of the saved reports you could create are. So for example, if I wanted to only look at my Wealthfront deposits, these are contributions that I've made to my Wealthfront investment account from my various checking or savings accounts. So I can filter for just that merchant of Wealthfront, and I can see how my contributions have been changing over time. These are all of my transfer outs. I can also sum up the total of transfers. In the past, because these are not expenses that I have as a member, it was much harder for me to understand what those totals actually were. But now I can easily filter for that merchant. And what I just shared here is our ability to save reports, and your saved reports will always be one click away. With saved reports, you can access all of the preset filters for reports that you want to come back to more often. My Venmo cash flow, and I wanted to understand for my Venmo account, am I typically spending more or bringing in more? So I can filter for that account and save that report. Now, let's say I wanted to create a brand new filter. So I want to select these 3 accounts. I want to only show my expenses. I also want it to be between the dates of the last 90 days. For whatever reason, if this is a report that I want to go to, I just want to show that it's highly customizable, and I always want it to be represented in quarterly intervals. I'm going to apply that filter, and I can quickly save that report, and I'm going to call it my demo report. I can clear filters, go and navigate throughout the product, but if I ever want to go back to that report, within one click, I can easily access that report again. That is the reporting functionality that we have on desktop. I can't wait for you all to give it a try. It is a feature that's both available on desktop and on mobile. We are also introducing some new navigation in mobile to give you easier access to this reporting functionality. But thank you so much for your time. And as always, thank you for being a valued Origin member.